I've been running my own small business for about 5 years now. It's my pride and joy, something I built from the ground up with countless sleepless nights, missed holidays, and years of hard work. It's not a Fortune 500 company, but it's doing well enough to give me a comfortable life, and I've always been proud of what I've accomplished. I met my fiancée, Lisa, about 3 years ago. She's charming, intelligent, and ambitious. Our relationship has always felt like a partnership in every sense of the word. I supported her through her career struggles, and she's been my rock when things got tough for me. So when I proposed to her last year, I was convinced that I'd found my life partner. Things started to change a few months after our engagement. Lisa began bringing up the topic of finances more often. She'd casually mention how couples should share everything and how a successful marriage is built on financial transparency and equality. I didn't think much of it at first because I agreed with the general sentiment. I've always been transparent about my finances, and I assumed she was too. One evening, we were discussing our future plans when Lisa dropped a bombshell. She said she wanted us to formalize an agreement where I would give her half of my business profits, starting immediately, even before the wedding. Her reasoning? She claimed that as my future wife, she'd be a significant part of my life and, by extension, my business success. She argued that she deserved to benefit from the hard work I'd already put in, as well as any future growth. I was stunned. I tried to explain that my business wasn't just a money-making machine. It was something deeply personal to me, something I'd poured my heart and soul into long before I met her. I told her that while I'd be more than happy to share the fruits of my labor with her once we were married, I wasn't comfortable with the idea of legally binding myself to give her half of the profits right now. Lisa didn't take it well. She accused me of not trusting her and said that my refusal to agree to her terms showed that I wasn't fully committed to our relationship. She even went as far as to suggest that if I truly loved her, I'd have no problem sharing my success with her. The conversation escalated into a heated argument. She brought up every instance where she'd supported me emotionally, claiming that her contributions to my life justified her request. I countered by pointing out that her support, while invaluable, didn't entitle her to a financial stake in something she hadn't helped build. It was a harsh thing to say, but I felt backed into a corner. After that night, things between us were never the same. Lisa became distant and passive-aggressive. She'd make snide remarks about how I valued my money more than our relationship. Meanwhile, I started to feel like she saw me as a paycheck rather than a partner. It was a painful realization, but I couldn't shake the feeling that her priorities had shifted. The breaking point came a few weeks later when Lisa gave me an ultimatum. Either I agreed to her terms, or she'd call off the engagement. She said she needed to feel secure in our future together, and this was the only way to ensure that. I told her I couldn't agree to something that felt so fundamentally wrong to me, and with that, she walked out. I spent the next few days in a haze of disbelief and heartbreak. I'd thought Lisa was the one, but her demand had revealed a side of her I'd never seen before. It wasn't just about the money. It was about trust, respect, and the foundation of our relationship. If she couldn't respect my boundaries and the work I'd put into my business, how could we build a future together? Eventually, I made the difficult decision to cut her off completely. I returned the engagement ring and told her I needed to focus on myself and my business. She didn't take it well, accusing me of being selfish and short-sighted. But deep down, I knew I'd made the right choice. In the weeks that followed, I began to reflect on the relationship with clearer eyes. I started to notice patterns I had previously ignored. Lisa had always been vocal about her ambitions and her desire to live a certain lifestyle. While there's nothing wrong with having goals, I realized she had often talked about those goals in terms of what she wanted to have, rather than what she wanted to achieve herself. She had mentioned wanting to own a luxury home, take exotic vacations, and enjoy a life of leisure, but rarely about how she planned to contribute to building that life. I also remembered the little things she'd said or done that had hinted at this mindset. For instance, when I'd tell her about a particularly good quarter for my business, she'd jokingly ask if I was going to buy her a new designer bag or plan a lavish trip. At the time, I'd laughed it off, thinking she was just being playful. Now, those comments felt like red flags I should have paid more attention to. My friends and family were incredibly supportive during this time. A few of them admitted that they'd had reservations about Lisa but hadn't wanted to interfere in my happiness. My mom, in particular, confessed that she'd always felt Lisa was more interested in the lifestyle I could provide than in me as a person. It was a tough pill to swallow, but their honesty helped me see the situation for what it was. One of the hardest parts of the breakup was dealing with the social fallout. Lisa and I had been very public about our engagement, and many people in our social circles were shocked when they found out we'd split. Lisa didn't shy away from sharing her version of events, painting me as someone who valued money over love. I'd hear whispers at gatherings and see side glances from mutual acquaintances. It was frustrating, but I chose not to engage. I knew the truth, and that was enough for me. Over time, I began to focus on the positives that came out of this experience. I've always been passionate about my business, and now I feel even more motivated to grow it, not just as a source of income, but as a testament to what I've accomplished on my own. I've also started to reevaluate what I want in a partner. I've realized that while love and attraction are important, shared values and mutual respect are non-negotiable. A few months after the breakup, Lisa reached out to me. She said she wanted to apologize for how things ended and hoped we could remain friends. While I appreciated the gesture, I knew that rekindling any sort of relationship would only bring back old wounds. I politely declined, wishing her well, but making it clear that I needed to move forward without her in my life. Today, I'm in a much better place. I've thrown myself back into my work, expanded my business, and even started exploring hobbies I'd put on hold during our relationship. I've also taken some time to travel, something I'd always wanted to do but never prioritized. Each step I take feels like a step toward reclaiming my independence and sense of self. In addition to focusing on myself, I've also taken steps to protect my business in the future. I've consulted with a lawyer to set up legal safeguards that ensure my business remains solely mine. This experience has taught me the importance of being proactive about protecting what I've worked so hard for. It's not just about money. It's about the time, energy, and passion I've invested into building something meaningful.